Hey there YouTube, I'm Ikitsu, this is the Ikitsu Times, welcome to my channel, and welcome to a little bit of Pathfinder Kingmaker. So, I've been trying to get through this game, and it has been utter hell, but it's been a good learning experience as well. Now, the first chapter is the most frustrating part as far as I've been able to tell, and the reason is that when you're playing this game, there are a bunch of things that make it so that different people enter your party at different times, and depending on how you're playing it, you won't. If you're playing on unfair difficulty, you need to abuse the game as much as possible, and the biggest thing that you can do to make it so it's playably possible is to make it so that you're way above level instead of at the sort of standard power curve that the game assumes. It assumes you're going to exit Chapter 1 about level 4 and maybe level 5. So that's sort of the curve that it goes for under the normal game. You want to get through it at level 6 at the very least, and be on your way to level 7. So I'm going to show you guys a few things here. So first of all, we're setting this to unfair difficulty, like I said there, and that sets it to a certain difficulty. Now, we're also going to set it to last Azlanti mode, which is a bad idea. For the start of the game, we're also setting it so that only active companions receive experience. And this is going to make it so that we manage to get a lot more experience points during the game. We're going to toggle the experience points things on and off there, and I'm going to show you guys basically how to play this with using only the intended mechanics, the as-made mechanics for the game, and how to get through it on this difficulty with Last Azlanti. There is one exception to this, and it's something that you can technically do with the settings I got. I'm going to make a hard backup save, and I'm going to save scum through the Ratna kill, and I'm going to save scum through not triggering the Technic Leak guys. The first one is possible if you are willing to just sort of make it so that your characters are a little bit suboptimally built, and frankly speaking, it's probably smarter to do that way. All you have to do is give like Amiri or somebody a couple ranks in Find Trap, and then use the standard save scum method to go through until you manage to clear all the traps on Ratna Kill. And this is going to get experience points to your entire party, which is what you want to have happen there anyway. But the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to disable them myself, and there's no real particular reason why you would have to do that. It's just that it's going to be a little bit easier for my character to do that, so it'll take less time, although it'll require more hard rebooting the game because I'll have to go in, duplicate my save, and then make sure it's backed up before I try to disable a trap, because it can one-shot kill you, and it's very easy for it to one-shot kill you. So the reason that we're going to do it that way is it should just be a little bit faster, I think. The other thing that we're doing is possible to get through if I just give them Harem, because I don't like Harem, but I'm not going to have them in the party, or I could give them Lindsay, which would be a little bit meaner because I do like Lindsay, even though she's not going to be part of our party here. I think we go with the standard face there, the just neutral one. Obviously the best haircut. There are other haircuts that are kind of okay, but this is like, why would you have any other kind of haircut? It's like my haircut in real life. Anyway, so yeah. If you want to look at what we're doing for our build here, I can tell you a little bit about why we're doing what we're doing here. So we're picking Elf because we're going for a Dexterity Intelligence type build, and they're the ones that get that. It is also possible, I think, to get that with Tiefling. Since you're allowed to pick a Tiefling Heritage, I could go into this, and then I'd have to choose some sort of... Is that not how these work right now? There should be like a thing that lets me pick what type of tiefling I am here. Here it is. So we could be like a Rakshasa spawn, which gives me bonus to Dexterity Charisma. I think there's one with Dexterity Intelligence. I can't remember which one it is. But basically, yeah, so we could be a Grim spawn. +2 on Trickery and Persuasion when used for bluff only. They can use the Frigid Touch builds per day. They have Acid Resistance 5. Really, really powerful compared to the Elf in a lot of ways there, but there's some sort of penalties to this as well. I think there might be another one that also has bonus to intelligence. Maybe not. And probably not that particular bonus set. Oh, Dexterity, Charisma, or Intelligence. It does have that -2 Charisma, +2 to Persuasion when used for bluff and stealth checks. So yeah, like, we could go with this and that would be kind of fine. The other option for this type of thing, if you're trying to build a character that's like this, is the Aasimars. They have a similar sort of thing there going on. So we pick, again, Aasimar. These ones have +2 to Wisdom and Charisma, and +2, this one's got +2 Strength Charisma. I don't think that these guys have a Dex Intelligence bonus 1. much more commonly other things. Dex Charisma, this one's interesting. Yeah, Dex Wisdom. So nothing gives me exactly what I'm sort of looking for here. So either way, like we could go with the Tiefling, but I don't really feel like we need that here. Also gain access to Keen Senses here, +2 on Perception, which is not really too important for us. It's going to counteract one of the penalties we have, Elven Magic, +2 on caster level checks to overcome spell resistance, and a +2 bonus on Knowledge Arcana checks to identify items, which is completely irrelevant. We're going to be able to do that for basically free anyway. Elven Immunities, +2 against enchantments, and we're immune to sleep effects. And then we get Elven Weapon Familiarity, which is going to be useful for our character, because we're going to make our character as anime as possible. Let's go back to class here. I don't want to be an alchemist. We want to be, in this case, a wizard. We could pick one of the other variants, but the standard wizard is perfectly fine here. The one that would be most probably effective is the Thessalonian Specialist, but it's difficult to play a Thessalonian Specialist. They have so many restrictions that make it really kind of difficult. So we're just not going to go with that. We're going to go standard. The other one that's quite good is the Scroll Savant. You can still take your Specialist School and have that be sort of normal. All it replaces would be our first feat here, and it would change it with Scroll Focus. The problem is that Scroll Focus is just not very good. The other thing is I don't want Arcane Bond, actually, no, I can get familiar using this one. Good. Okay, so yeah, we want the generic wizard bonus feat instead of what they have offered there. So for our special school, we're going for Conjuration. Now, we're not going to play what looks like a Conjurer, but in a lot of ways we will be. Conjuration is a really, really powerful school in D&D and Pathfinder. Summoner's Charm, though, and Acid Dart are fairly good abilities. The reason that I have to take this more than anything is because those abilities are quite good. There's always good Conjuration spells every single level, so it's a strong school to take this with. And that's sort of what you're trying to do when you choose a specialist school. The one that I actually am going to take mostly, and I'm going to sort of boost up most, is actually the Illusion School, but their bonuses are really trash. All I'm going to get is Blinding Ray, and that ability is complete garbage. The other option that potentially could work for us is Physical Enhancement and Telekinetic Fist from the Transmutation School, but that's not as strong as Conjuration, and I don't take Transmutation spells every single level like I do Conjuration spells. So Conjuration it is. For our starting thing here, we're going to go with the Viper Familiar. This gives us +3 on Persuasion checks. There's other options that are kind of good there, and if you're not on unfair difficulty, I would actually think that you could do something crazy if you wanted to, like the Lizard Familiar, and try and build a tanky wizard or something like that. But the reason that we take this is because Persuasion is just ridiculously over-important in this version of the game. It's for your character to make their Persuasion checks, so... Going to do that. For our stats, we need to max out our intelligence. Our dexterity goes up. We're going to drop our strength down. We're going to drop our wisdom down. And we are going to increase that one more. We're going to increase our charisma as much as we can here. And we've got a spare point left over. And the only thing we're allowed to put it into is constitution. This does mean we've got 3 odd stats here, but they're in all things that I don't really care about. Now, we have to have mobility, trickery, and arcana because we're going to be going into arcane trickster. And we can also have knowledge world there, and we want to have persuasion as our last skill. So that skill set is perfectly fine for what we're doing here. We'll be missing stealth a little bit, but we'll be able to sort of make up for that a little bit later. And for our feats, we're going to go with spell focus, and we are going to make that spell focus illusion. This is just sort of preference more than anything there. I don't think necessarily that it's going to be a guaranteed thing that this is what you want to take there, but I prefer using illusion spells. We're going to choose opposition schools as Divination and Enchantment. The reason that we picked Divination is because they really nerfed the school. Half the levels don't have divination spells, there's just nothing there to pick for that. So a lot of the time we don't need those. The few ones that we are going to take from there, they're low enough level that we can pay the extra price for casting them, because you can still cast a divination spell, it just takes 2 slots instead of 1. Enchantment is actually fine, I don't mind that spell school at all. The reason that we're not taking that is because we're focused in illusion, and if you're focusing in illusion, you don't need enchantment, and vice versa. If we're focusing in enchantment, we don't need illusions. So, we're going to continue on from there and pick our spells. Now, we don't need to take every sort of spell that you would think we would want to take. We start off with the Scroll of Mage Armor, Magic Missile, and Expeditious Retreat, which are all really good spells, but that means that we can learn those through the scrolls. So, we're going to start off with Grease. We're going to then take Burning Hands. We're going to need that later. We're going to take Color Spray. We're going to take Enlarged Person. Going to take Shield. And we're going to take... we've got 3 more. After you take those ones... Oh, Reduce Person. Where'd Reduce Person go? There we go. After you take those ones, it's a lot less important. Those are kind of the sort of most important things that we can take here. After that, we're sort of looking for things like maybe... I kind of don't care about the last ones as much at all here. I think that what we'll take here is just... Snowball, I guess? I don't know. And maybe... I always regret something like at some point in time. Let's take Hurricane Bow. Alright. So, for our voice, we're going to go
Time's not waiting.
For our birthday, we're just going to choose a random day here. I'm... closing my eyes here. And we're going to pick a random month here, and I'm going to close my eyes here, and we're just going to click through. There's probably an optimal one for your birthday to be on, but I have no idea. I'm going to... let's go with one that sounds nice. That sounds nice. I think they're named after deities. Alright, and our alignment is going to be lawful good. There's some benefits to being on the law side of things in terms of your city building, and I like lawful good just as a preference there. So that should be just about everything. So this is our character. He is the scrawniest twig that you could ever see, but that's fine because he's going to do like crazy backflips and shit, and like slash people up with his Elven Curveblade Katana thing. Because we are trying to, again, create like the most weeb character that we possibly can. It's not going to come online until later, but it's going to be pretty good. So I'm going to show you guys how to get through the tutorial on Last Azlanti mode. Almost guaranteed there's one fight
Our
that
story started
can screw
at
us
the
over.
mansion of an Aldori sword lord. Drawn by the promise of a most dangerous task and a commensurately huge reward,
But
heroes of all stripes
if
gather
you want to
here.
play through this game at Last Azlanti mode, like, there's a couple ways to do it on unfair difficulty. One is you build a character that is specifically designed to get through the tutorial.
Where are they? This is taking forever! I didn't even say what this was for, just that the Aldori were looking for heroes. Who are the Aldori anyway? Rich folk?
If you can't be patient, no one's keeping you here. Just go back to your mountains or whatever hole you crawled out of. The Aldori Sword Lords run the premier school for the dueling arts. They're also the richest and most influential group in this part of Brevoy. Take that tone with them, and they'll teach you some manners pretty quickly.
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways. There's the way I'm about to show you, which lets you get through this with just about any character.
Toad, just shut your trap.
And there's you build a character that is specifically designed for this. Specifically, things with like animal companions can get through here a little bit easier, but even they have a hard time because the stats are so horribly over-adjusted. There is one fight though that can go poorly for you, and you might have to reload a lot to get through it. There's not a lot you can do about that one
Greetings,
fight.
everyone. I am Sword Lord Jamandi Aldori, and this is Lord Mayor Yosef Selimius of Restov. Welcome to my mansion.
We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for responding to our call.
I still think that this guy's initials
but
can't
that's
be like
unavoidable.
this guy's
We
probably
need only
Joseph
the
Stalin.
best of the best for this task.
I think that's what's
And
going
I
on
see
here.
true heroes before me, strong
Except
and
instead of like
fearless.
man of like
Exactly
steel,
what
it's
Restov
like man of
needs.
selenium, which I don't know what that would really mean. I don't know the qualities of selenium
Thank
very
you,
well.
Lord Mayor. Now, to the point. South of here, just beyond Brevoy's border, lies a region known as the Stolen
Means that in
Lands.
this universe, the like
This is
tanks are made out
disputed
of
territory,
glorious
and while it's
selenium
long been
right.
claimed by nearby states, it's never been truly taken. I won't bore you with the legal technicalities.
When memes first talk about like
Suffice
Soviet
to
tanks
say
and how
that
they're made out
anyone
of
with
glorious
enough
selenium, they're
courage
not
and power
technically
to
entirely
seize
wrong
the
because that just
stolen
means like
lands and name
steel.
themselves Baron or Baroness, claiming dominion. Well, none of the neighboring states would be able to challenge
So
it.
none of this technically makes sense to me,
Rostov
but
would be first
you know,
to
whatever.
recognize the. Unfortunately,
Okay.
one serious obstacle.
So nothing
stands
here really
between
matters
you
too much.
and
I
this
like
title.
clicking on this one
A
just
gang of
because
bandits
it
hold
feels like
sway
it's
in
the
the
most
stolen lands.
unanswered. Everything else here
Their
feels
chief,
like it's been
who
answered.
they call.
I will,
So we're
of
gonna click
course.
that.
We
You're
have
gonna get some complaining
If I
and
may
some
plead,
hubbub
we believe you're
and so on
all
and so forth.
equally deserving of a noble
They
title.
tell us something very, very
Over the
stupid
course of your
here,
expedition,
but
it will be up
that's
to you
fine.
as a team to decide which of you is best suited to rule.
This is a terrible solution to the problem at hand. Anyway, it's clear as day.
Thank you again.
Yeah, they talk a lot. Like, a lot of this is just unnecessary fluff to a certain extent there.
Hi, my name's Lindsay. I'm a bard, though this is my first real adventure. So, shall we go teach this stag lord a lesson?
So this is Lindsay. She is a fanfic author.
Likewise. Actually, I also wanted to ask you something. How do you feel about this Tartuccio fellow? I think he's pretty obnoxious personally. He appointed himself head of the team, and he's just after the Baron's crown, or whatever it is barons wear. It doesn't matter. I don't like him. I think you should be team leader. When I first saw you, I couldn't help but think, now here's a real hero. Someone who'll be praised in poems and songs.
So, like, when she looks at the twig person and, like, says, this person's a true hero, clearly it shows that she's a very specific type of fanfic author. So I'm thinking she's probably the type that reads a lot of Clamp, or maybe even a member of Clamp, because they're Dojin authors. So yeah, that's who Lindsay is. Wait, a book?
Damn. I should have
writing a book.
You know what the trouble with most here? And then
So,
I thought,
you know, she's
I
writing a
could
book.
be that bard.
What about that barbarian? She looks pretty heroic. I think her name's Amiri.
Volunteer to fall.
You know, because very, very different genre
you
of
could tell
book
she could
is
tear a
the kind
bear's
that
head
Amiri's
off
in.
with her bare hands, but
Because my character's the kind that you find in,
kind of
like,
scares me
X 1999 or something like that.
But I mean, her sword's
Whereas
twice
her
as big as
character
I am.
is
She
like
could
one
cut
you
me
find
down
from
without
Conan
even
the Barbarian or
noticing.
something like that.
Just think on it a bit, all right? All right. I'm going to.
So, they mentioned at the start of this that I'm supposed to go around and talk to people, but they had a real missed opportunity, because this is all the talking is right now. And they even sort of, like, really spoil who is around. That's important, because, like, there's a ton of people that are just named Adventure. It would have been great if there was a couple people here who had, like, real names or something like that.
All according to plan.
And then they also just, you know, don't have... You never see them again. Like, you got this guy over here. Obviously, he's important, because he has a name. So, cool. Anyway, something that's very important when you're here. Let's go through our items first here real quick here. So, we got this. We're going to copy the spellbook, copy the spellbook, copy the spellbook. So we've learned Mage Armor, Magic Missile, and Expeditious Retreat. So we now know some extra spells there. Like I said, very, very nice to be able to learn those. And we're going to go ahead and set ourselves up some spells. I think that we're going to equip Mage Armor, and then we're going to equip 3 Color Sprays, because Color Spray is our spell that we've made very powerful. So this way we sort of know 3 extra level 1 spells compared to what we could have known otherwise. And at that point in time, you just leave. Like I said, there's actually nothing to do here. So we are going to also double check, like, did we do our difficulty correctly and this stuff correctly. Only active companions receive experience points. We'll also want to switch it so only skill users receive skill checks, but we do that just before we make those skill checks. Do we have skill checks that I have to make before anything else? I think not. So this first part is technically like a tutorial guaranteed fight. There's nothing to it, but we still get a decent amount of experience points because we're the only member of the party, and we get all of it. If we don't set it to the way we set it, we get that divided up 6 ways. And so we get like 9 experience points for this fight, even though there's only one member of our party. What's going on?
The mansion's under attack. We need to help. Some villains broke in and started killing everyone. I barely made it. Hurry, we have to help the guards fight off the attackers, or we'll all be cut down one by one.
Okay, so she slams the... She like runs out the door, and somehow, like, this guy just, you know, whatever. Not sure how that all happens, but I forgot to turn
Enemy
off tutorial
approaching!
stuff. Anyway, this is a guaranteed fight. He cannot kill you here as far as I'm aware. I've never seen it happen. He can some way, but yeah, sometimes he does nick you for a couple points of damage, though, which is really annoying when that happens, because you don't recover it. And I'll show you why that's kind of annoying in a little bit there. Hold on, don't show tutorial. There we go. Ah, shit.
That is not far.
Okay, I want to go in here first. What the hell? Oh, god damn it. Okay, well, whatever. It doesn't actually matter. So this is another guaranteed fight. That's part of the tutorial. This one, Lindsay is a super tank.
We will be victorious!
Not only can she not get killed, she automatically recovers all her hit points
should
after
do
this
it.
fight. So it really doesn't matter what happens here. So she could get hit a couple times. It's completely irrelevant.
You're Just in time. Lady just speaking of dummies.
So, if you pay attention to the text here, he does sort of imply that he thinks you're a sucker before he gives this to you, so you can sort of surmise that he's trying to lure you into something, but there's far less nuance and interesting things about that because it doesn't actually go anywhere. Like, they could have made it so that could be done, you could get something out of this, but it actually penalizes you for knowing that because if you figure that out the first time like I did, it doesn't do anything. Like, you don't wear the ring, and then it doesn't matter. So, yeah, thanks, game. Anyhow, we're just running around stealing all the stuff that we can here. We're going to go ahead and steal a little bit more here, although actually, Lindsay,
I wrote it like I saw it.
We're going to go over here, and we're going to lock ourselves in this room here. And Takeshi and I are going to go just, I don't know, sloppy makos or something in the room. I don't care. But Lindsay is now the hero of the story. Congratulations, the story's about you now, or something. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and equip her with the chainmail. It just makes it so that she's a little bit less likely to get murdered here, so that she gets a little bit more time to do some shots.
I would love to.
Unfortunately, we're not allowed to put Tartuccio's present on her, so we might as well wear it ourselves, even though, like I said, it's a trap. But yeah, like, the game doesn't really reward you for noticing that kind of stuff. Anyhow, what we want to do here is just have Lindsay go over and fire a shot at this assassin with her crossbow.
Make an epic pose?
And then we're going to move over here. Deal 1 damage, which is garbage, because that's the minimum, and then she dies horribly. And then they run around the corner here, and Lindsay rises from the dead. And the reason that they do this is because Tartuccio is not allowed to die in this dungeon at this point in time for story reasons. Theoretically, it should not matter if Lindsay dies here, but I think if they made it a special exception for Tartuccio, they would sort of give away the game just a little bit there. Okay, well, we've got that bug where I can't stealth here. You know what? I think that I can solve that here. Like, these guys to stealth
and Lindsay
sometimes.
was called forth. This way.
Can I just... Is it just really bugged today? I think it's just really bugged today. But yeah, so Lindsay's immortal. She gets up no matter what happens to her, and this is deliberate.
Wishes, and then our leader charged
so you can just keep
forward.
doing this over and over
wait
again.
For me.
And we'll eventually kill all these guys.
Miserable.
It just takes a trillion years. Now, I don't actually have to stealth to flatfoot them, but, you know, that's fine. Now, this fight is winnable with the composition that I have right now. The character I've built, if I get a color spray that gets all 3 of them, I will win this fight.
This is where I step in. You have put a footnote in our
color spray off is actually quite difficult. Having all 3 of them then fail their save is quite difficult. The other thing that can happen is I get, like, everyone lined up and we fire all our shots at this one assassin before he can act while he's flat-footed and stuff like that with bardic music running. And we deal enough damage, typically speaking, with that opening volley, if I get a little bit lucky, to kill him in 1 volley.
You deserved it.
And then we just have to color spray 2 people rather than 3.
I need inspiration.
So it is possible for me to do a fair victory here.
Any last wishes?
Yeah, like, despite the fact that I'm wearing the heavier armor, that's a little bit better. It's, they usually still hit. It just makes it possible for them to not hit. They've got a +9 bonus to their attack rolls, and I'm flat-footed for that first hit, so...
Right.
Okay,
this is where I step in. And then our leader charged forwards. Hey, wait for me! Serves you right.
And shivved horribly. This is a very slow and annoying process, by the way. And I know that it is. Like, if I could do this the legitimate way, I would, because it would be much faster.
They walked on.
But it's not faster, this is not slower than resetting the game from the start, because like I said, Run Last doesn't
You're but a footnote in our
there's
story.
nothing we can really do to control the standard RNG of this. Right? Like, it's just...
Can you make an epic pose?
I like that they reset my initiative the way it did.
What?
Alright.
Fine, miserable last chapter.
But yeah, like, these guys do so much damage that they can one-shot literally any build that I have, and their bonus to hit here is +11, which nothing that I build could possibly tank that. So there are some very specific builds that can rush in and kill them before they get to act. There's some very specific builds like mine that are designed to make it so that they
and then our leader
are disabled from
forwards.
one big spell.
Wait for
You could
me.
also use sleep for this.
This is where I step in.
And I think that sleep might actually be a little bit easier because you can get all 3 of them from a long range. Although I don't know if they've got low enough hit points for that. The problem with the sleep one is you need very specific builds so you can then coup de grace them, because, like, Lindsay's not going to be able to coup de grace anything.
Their sight betrays them.
That was weird. Huh.
Serves you right. You're but a footnote in our story.
So you can definitely see why, like, you wouldn't want to do this normally. Like, you could play the entire game like this, technically. The reason you can play most of the game like this is that Jthal is also immortal as a standard feature. Like, it's not just during the tutorial, Jthal is always immortal. And that means that you can sort of give her a bow or something like that, or you can just let her stand up and lead. And you could, like, leave the game running and walk away for an hour or two, and you'll clear up whatever else you fight, eventually. She just has to, like, get up, win initiative, and then eventually, and then hit someone. So eventually that'll happen with Jthal. Eventually she'll kill anything. It's a really stupid process. I think that it's very, very poorly thought out to have that as a standard feature for one of the characters. But this is also why I think that, like, people who think that you get a more powerful team,
Hey, wait for me!
customized characters are slightly wrong. There's some really broken shit in the main characters. 6 damage, nice. 6 damage is like the maximum damage on a standard shot for us. So being able to deal 6 damage to one of them is a lot. Now, we can't actually do this sort of thing through every fight in the mansion, and this is where
any last wishes? You're but a footnote in our story.
But also, nice to know.
This is where I step in.
Yeah.
What?
It's nice to know as well, like, when you can.
Last chapter.
I could risk something and, like, throw all 3 of my guys to just finish off one of the last archers as well. Like, you could try to speed this up, but if you catch an unlucky arrow to the neck, you instantly die and have to start the entire game.
Can you make an epic pose?
Right,
I
so
need inspiration.
it's just basically always a better idea to just continue along the way you're doing
what?
Here.
Miserable. Last chapter.
Their armor class as well, like, our chances of hitting them, even when they're flat-footed, is pretty low. Like, they're capable of surviving a lot of shots. Having 3 of us shooting at them, for example, would not substantially increase our...
Any last wishes? And then our leader charged forward.
We would probably die before we killed them in the shootout, basically, is what I'm saying.
This
they just have so much more than I possibly can.
Miserable last
like, plus 11 is comparable to what I'm going to have at, like, level 6.
Right.
Some other things that you can do to make it so that you technically have a little bit more, but...
Serves you right. You're but a footnote in our story.
Finally.
You deserved it. Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration. What? Miserable.
Almost got that second shot off with that crossbow bolt there. So she'll die in just a little bit here. Are you guys trying to walk or something? I hear footsteps. Weird. Yeah. Now, the other thing about this, like, I don't know if there's any build that cannot get through the unfair mansion using this method. It's the second fight and the last fight that are really going to be sort of question marks as far as that goes, but
this is where I step in.
You should be able to get through just about any build that you want.
What?
And once you get through, like, the mansion, get through to Oleg's and defeat the fight at Oleg's, that's sort of when you feel like you could, your build options open up a little bit, right? So you don't want to just have to build a specific character to get through this stupid dungeon. There's also some people who will play, like, on easier difficulty.
Serves you right. You're but a footnote in our story.
But I feel like if you want to get through it the sort of, air quotes, legitimate way, the way that they have the intended mechanics for, then this is how you do it. Which is weird, because I don't know if this is exactly what you would call intended mechanics,
Follow my lead.
Definitely seems to be the way that they want you to do it if you're playing certain types of characters. So, the way you pick up gear is by weight, so you look at the ratio of cost to weight. This is 10 pounds, 1 gold, so it's a bad ratio. I'll take things that are 1-to-1, but anything worse than that I generally won't pick up. So we'll take another example over here.
In due time.
Checking this box here, we got the hide armor, which has 25 pounds but 3 gold, and similar heavy maces, 6 pounds, 3 gold. So both of those are a little bit too heavy for what they give. By contrast, over here we got just straight up gold, which weighs nothing, and then we got this Tianxia ink, which is 0.05 pounds for 5 gold. It's really good value for weight, and it's value for weight that you sort of go through here.
That is not far.
Then there's also utility and stuff like that. That's also a consideration. Over here we can get like some books and stuff like that, which are pretty valuable, and also food, which is both valuable and useful. So go ahead and pick up some trout that'll sit in our backpack for months at a time.
As it should be.
And never go bad for reasons which are entirely mysterious. Alright. So our next fight is another of those super scripted fights, by which I mean like there's literally nothing we have to do about them. Because Amiri is going to do all of the dirty work for us here.
It's the end for you, rats!
And she is like way more powerful during this tutorial. Just like how
Make an
Lindsay
epic
is way more
pose.
powerful
I
during
need
this tutorial.
inspiration.
I need you to not be using that, please.
A calculated risk.
And she just sort of chops through everything. The main thing that's actually different is that she's like accurate and that she never takes damage. Like, because they don't hit her armor class.
Oh,
Steven.
you. Stay up from under my feet or I'll strike you down. Blood for Gorum!
Barbarians.
I think that's exactly how heroes should be.
What, stupid, sweaty, and always looking for something to gobble up or lop the head off of? Calistria, save me from such heroes.
Okay, so I think she's pretty rad personally, but you know, whatever. Alright, let's go ahead and grab all this stuff here. Daggers
In
are
due
exactly
time.
1 for 1 as our most bladed weapons. And now we get a cutscene where some stuff happens, which I don't really care about. And one of the worst ragdolls in the history of animation happens here. It's just, it's so bad. That one is so bad. Like, this is fine. Like, the Cone of Cold's very impressive. The fact that we got this Frost Giant stomping through here, that we don't actually have to fight, but it's very imposing and scary and stuff like that. You know, that's all lovely, but, this guy here just freaking eats it in the dumbest way. Alright, so we're gonna grab that. Now, we are going to create a save here, and the way that you save in this difficulty is you go into the options menu, and you hit main menu, and it'll automatically save your game. And again, this is intended mechanics. Whether or not they intend you to be able to save whenever you want to using Iron Man mode, that's another question, but it does overwrite your previous checkpoints, so it's not as though I feel that this is actually an exploit. I feel like this is working as intended. Because if they wanted to, they could have made it so that you save at hard checkpoints and you cannot save when exiting the game. So you would have to replay the same sort of stuff if you wanted to go back and do whatever the hell. So the next thing that we're going to do real quick here before we go further in, we want Lindsay here to drink down some of these potions. Probably 2 is fine. Gonna keep her with the stuff that she has equipped there, but she's not going to use that right away. And usually takes 2. There's a dexterity check here.
Ready for anything.
I think that I can make sure that I do this one, so what we're going to do here is also create another save now that we've... sometimes it takes 3 potions to heal Lindsay. We don't want to use 3 potions there. 2 is the amount that you want. And you can never use 1, unfortunately. Or rather, she won't be full health if you use 1. So, what we're going to do is put a save there so that we can do a skill check. I should have done this a slightly different way. I should have changed our stat things. So we go into our options here. I've got a very high dexterity, so we can pass our dexterity checks pretty easily. So we set it so that only skill users receive skill check experience for this. And we adjust this depending on who's making any given skill check.
A trivial matter.
So we get through there and we gain 54 experience points, but we get that just for ourselves. After that, we're going to turn this back off there, although we want to adjust that basically for every skill check. We're often going to
Ready
forget to.
for anything.
And at this point in time, we get ready for a fight with this fellow. So we kill him first, and then move on to this guy. We move into the back here so I don't catch an unlucky arrow to the neck, because sometimes they will prioritize attacking me,
Adventures
which
call
would
to
be
them.
unpleasant. So
Focus
the way that,
on the goal.
I think is best to do this is we hit pause here.
Just
Actually,
letting
we
the ink dry.
activate this first, so we got a little bit of bonus.
Enlighten me.
But what we want to do is actually use Magic Missile.
No mistakes.
Magic Missile Scroll and
Anything is
Ear
possible.
Piercing Scream on the melee assassin. The reason we do this on the melee assassin is that the ranged assassin, once we sort of dealt with this guy, he's easier to catch with a
I know
color
what
spray.
to do.
But
Enemy approaching.
okay, so what we're hoping for is somebody to have enough initiative to hit him again before he can do anything. For my part, I just sort of don't let him murder me. Lindsay's going to go down to that bowman. And we'll reset this if,
Last
so
chapter.
he's now going after Tartuccio with his bow. He's now going after me with his bow. I probably have to reset that fight. Don't use those saves other than the top one. They are bugged, so just only ever use the top save if you're playing Last Azlanti. I don't know why they have bugged saves like that, or even why there are other saves. They're supposed to be getting deleted as you sort of go along
Ready
here.
for anything.
This is why I was saying I should have done this in a slightly different order. I should have just done the skill check and then saved on the other side, but that's fine. Okay, so make sure it's me.
It is finished.
Okay.
Focus on the goal.
I think we might
I
be
deserve
slightly better
better.
off here if I try to use my
Just
crossbow
letting the
and
ink dry.
drop another save here. The other thing is, like, if that archer wins initiative over everybody like that, he gets a sneak attack, which is really, really powerful. It doubles his damage, basically. Not quite. It changes it to D8 plus D6 plus maybe some other bonuses. Very, very powerful hits. And since the damage gets doubled after that, it's a lot to take. It'll basically one-shot most people most of the time. But
What troubles you?
actually, I can't
I
time this
always
right
have
if I
a
try to
second
do
plan.
it the way I was just describing. Can I reach
Ready
him
for
with this?
anything.
Not really. So
Just
the other
letting
thing
the
that can
ink
happen
dry.
is we succeed on our ear-piercing scream, and he gets stopped for a round.
They dare to attack me?
Okay, so gonna try and hit him with that. I think I'm going to switch over to daze. Problem is, like, initiatives here. Missed, yeah. Alright, let's load again here. I'm gonna try firing crossbows this time. I think our odds of killing him in one go are slightly better with crossbows. It's just... This way I'm doing it here is a little bit more
What troubles
reliable in
you?
some ways to get rid of him. Now, we all are equipped with crossbows right now, right? You're not trying to
I
use
don't
your
tolerate
ice
fools.
thing, are you? Okay,
Serves
good.
you right.
You have to use the same weapon, otherwise it desyncs the shots, and yeah, not good if that
Enemy
happens.
approaching.
Only one hit, but it's a critical, but it's only 7 damage. Alright. Kind of want to make sure we kill him on this opening volley is what we're sort of aiming for here, although I probably could have checked our initiatives there. We might have been able to kill him. Only 7 damage, though, is not really enough for a
I
follow-up
always
shot
have
to
a
Just
kill him.
second
letting
plan.
the ink dry.
Alright.
Serves you right.
They dare to attack me?
Yeah, even worse. The thing is, like, when he is flat-footed, we've got an above 50% chance of hitting, so I should be hitting with 2, and if we hit with 2, usually we can kill him. Well, it's not usually, it's kind of a 50-50
And Lindsay was
thing.
called forth.
If we get 2 hits. It's like a
Leave this
25%
one
chance
to
of
me.
killing him in one volley, actually.
Enemy approaching.
Hey, look at that. That was a good one. Alright. Cool. Basically, all we're looking to do is be able to get it so that we can use a magic missile and kill him off before he gets to swing. Which,
I wrote it like
not
I
always
saw
that
it.
easy. Not always that easy.
This should do it.
Can you make an epic pose?
Look at that.
I need inspiration.
Unless you actually, like, let's double check this. It is 15, yeah, and we've got +5s. Lindsay and I have +5. Tartuccio's got like a +3 or something like that, so. Or +4, actually. Tartuccio's got +4, I think.
Time's
Yeah.
I
not
wrote
waiting.
it like I saw it.
This should do it.
They dare to attack me?
Jesus. Yeah, so we are supposed to have, actually, we have a 55% chance of hitting, actually, with Lindsay and my main character. And then a 50% chance with Tartuccio. So we should actually, on average, hit...
And Lindsay was called
We
forth.
should hit with 2 people a little bit more often than we hit
Leave
with...
this one to me.
A little bit more often than we hit with just 1 person.
Can you make an epic pose? I need
There we go.
inspiration.
Okay, so... Oh, shit. I'm probably about to eat an arrow to the neck here. I actually have to reset this so that I don't instantly die to a sneak attack arrow. The thing is, like, his initiative was such that if I moved someone closer to him, he probably would have killed me before I could do it, because it would have been a sneak attack shot for enough damage to kill me.
I am
need to just move
prepared.
further back, I guess.
I wrote it like I saw it.
It
Serves
was
you
slightly
right.
annoying that we just got
Can you
that
make
kill.
an epic pose? I need inspiration.
Nice. Okay. So what we're going to do is switch you over
You
to
deserved
daze.
it.
I'm going to switch you over to start dazing.
Leave this
So
one
this
to
is the
me.
hard fight. This is the one where you can actually lose if you're not paying attention, you're not being careful, and reloading the game when you need to. Uh-oh. Right, so... Since he does switch over to me, I have to move back. Or move out of that. I could have moved Lindsay up, I suppose, after...
Focus
before the
on the
daze.
goal.
Could have been microing
Just
a little bit
letting
better
the
there,
ink
but
dry.
I was kind of hoping that they'd fail one of their goddamn saves.
Leave this one to me. They dare to attack me?
No. It's so much easier if he just like dies to the first volley, or if you use the other strategy with the magic missiles if he gets dazed.
Time's not
Alright.
waiting.
Anything is possible.
The +1 to hit
This
+1
should
damage
do
from
it.
this is so good.
Can you make an epic pose?
We
I
still seem
need
to get screwed
inspiration.
over a lot more often than we don't. I don't know. I think we are going to bum rush that guy with our guys. We can also do a really weird thing where you run up with your knives, and then
I
hit him
know
with
what to do.
dazes, and you'll still get your attacks of opportunity, and he won't because
I
he
wrote it
uses
like
his
I
bow.
saw it.
Refuses to switch out of his bow
Serves
during
you
the lead.
right.
It's kind of funny.
Enemy approaching.
Not quite. We'd have to do about 8 damage. It's possible for another shot, but I couldn't do it with a magic missile. And he'll be in melee before I can get another shot off anyway.
No mistakes.
But 6 is kind of closer
Adventures
than
call to them.
a lot of our other ones.
Leave this one to me. They dare to attack me?
There we go. Okay. Is he still... What the hell? Oh god, and he's got good initiative. Oh, it's switched. Okay. Just have to make sure it's not switching again here.
Just
So Lindsay's
die
probably
already.
down. Honestly.
Serves you right.
But if she goes down, that's fine.
What a miserable last chapter.
Color spray. He's passed the save against the color spray. God damn it. He is dazed though, so. Okay, he's color sprayed. Good. Okay, let's
This should
hit him with
do
our
it.
crossbows.
Time to get my hands
And this
dirty
lasts
again.
long enough for us to probably kill him. There is a small chance that we don't kill him here, but this out of all the fights is the hardest. You have to be very careful to get through this one properly. So Lindsay comes back yet again. We're not going to heal her. Alright. So at this point in time, we're going to go through here.
Applause, please.
That's for some reason a 0 experience trickery track. I'm not too sure exactly how that one works or why, but it is the way that is. Take that key there. Gonna leave that one actually. Tower shield is way too heavy for us. We're already like encumbered slightly. Composite longbow, masterwork light mace. Those are both very good to take. And then we're gonna go ahead and take this treasure chest here.
What have we here?
What?
Who said
So
we
we're
were
just gonna
stealing it?
say we're not going to
Finally.
take it to make Lindsay happy, and then we're gonna take it anyway. The reason that we're taking it is because it makes a DC check for our diplomacy later harder. And we strictly speaking would want that to happen, except there's another one later that we don't want harder. The reason is that's just for roleplay purposes. And also it pisses off one of your party members a little bit more, and it makes other things a little bit harder. So, anyhow,
Oh, familiar faces.
so Jathal.
I hope you're not so
one of the
frightened
best
as to
people
swing
to
at
add to the
every
party.
shadow. It's me, Jathal. I don't recommend advancing down the hole.
And the
I'll
So, I'm just going to skip through here a little bit. So, we're going to go main menu, save here. I don't believe it's possible for me to activate these traps with my main character, but I do want to have a backup just in case here. I don't think they'll kill me either if they do activate. I think that they knock me unconscious. If I'm wrong here, then that's my bad, but this is a great spot to get a little bit more experience points for your character than you would otherwise be able to get, because, yeah, it's pretty good. Anyhow, we want to double check our options here. There's a bunch of traps down here. As she said, we want only the active skill user to get experience points, which is going to be me. We'll send Jthal down here. The spot checks don't actually give you experience points, and we can learn the DC from that. So usually
Just
the
letting the ink
disabled
dry.
device is the same as the
No
spot check.
mistakes.
I think Lindsay can also do these, but can't remember.
It is finished.
So we'll check the DC there. It's a DC 14, and I've got a +5, so it is impossible for me to activate
All
them,
according to plan.
as long as you've got at least DC minus 9, you'll never set it off at the very least. Alright, so Jthal, continue down the hallway a little bit here.
What a surprise.
Now, everyone
know
that I
what to
have
do.
that goes and joins my party is actually going to catch up to me. So the fact that I'm sort of sucking all of the experience
trivial
points into
matter.
myself is good, because it means that everyone's going to be a higher level
How
when we get out of here.
curious.
I need to
And in
concentrate.
fact, that's what we're going
Becoming
to do to
distracted
maximize our
leads to
experience points
becoming
gained
dismembered.
prior to Chapter 2. Because if we make sure all of the experience points are being funneled
trivial
into a
matter.
smaller group, we get a lot more experience points, and that sort of leads to some more benefits later. So Chainmail is not that good, and a Fauchard is pretty okay, but pretty heavy. So we'll probably just leave this stuff in here. If you were playing a character who specialized in Fauchards, or if you needed medium armor, this is where you would get some of it, but the
In
armory
due
honestly
time.
had better. So at this point in time, we are going to take everybody except Lindsay, and we are going to go
State
ahead and
your
hide them
design.
in this room over here. And we are going to have them sort of have some sort of like game of Jenga or something like that in here. I don't know. So close the door, hold position. Lindsay, have at it. So we're gonna switch this off so that she's using the crossbow
Their
again.
sight
We're not
betrays
healing her
them.
because again, we want her to be able
I wrote
to
it like I saw it.
deal
And
damage
Lindsay
here.
was called forth. Adventures called to them.
And these guys shouldn't see Lindsay there, so they'll like make a big fuss of things, but
Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration.
alright, I forgot. I need to be hiding with these three. So they automatically detect they're there for some reason. I forgot about that. Okay, so they should settle down in a second here.
They won't see a thing.
There we go. Alright. So
Serves
we
you
take a
right.
shot at him.
And then our leader charged forwards. Hey, wait for me. You deserved it.
Completely brained. Jeez, can you imagine trying to like fight against that and they just roll up to you, deal 48 damage, instantly kill you. You have to restart this whole damn thing again.
And so they walked on.
And if you're sort of like fighting, it's hard to disengage your
Any
main
last
character to
wishes?
get them to
You're
safety.
but a footnote in our
You can
story.
try to after all this, but
This is where I step in.
we tried there. Only have a +4 since we're not using our bardic music, of course.
Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration. Serves you right.
We got him for, nicked him. We got him. Alright, I don't know why we can't stealth sometimes. It just doesn't let you stealth sometimes.
Right.
Alright, zombie, immortal Lindsay. Like, it doesn't seem to be based on a perception radius or anything like that. It just seems to be like the game doesn't want you stealthing
You
sometimes.
deserved it. And then our leader charged forwards.
We've got 2
Hey,
initiative,
wait for
so...
me.
Nope. This fight is actually fairly doable the honest way. It's just you'll use up a ton of resources that you
I'm
can't
by your
really
side.
replace at this point in time. So I do find it always
What
better
troubles
to do
you?
it this way.
Any last wishes? You're but a footnote in our story. This is where I step in.
Nice. I can also do a quick check here. So I do have, for myself, 818 experience points, which is pretty good considering. And we'll be able to get to level 2 if we do it this way.
Can you make an epic
Prior to
pose?
us getting
I
out
need
of the castle.
inspiration.
So,
Serves you right.
that was not who I clicked on, but okay.
Miserable.
I guess it was who I clicked on.
Last
Doesn't matter.
chapter.
It's fine. Alright.
And then our leader charged
You can
forward.
definitely see,
Hey,
though,
wait
why
for
you
me.
can get through this with any character, right?
You deserved it.
Which is kind of the important thing, is being able to do this with any build. Because if I wanted to build like a Magus, it's very hard for me to find a good Magus build for Unfair that can get through this friggin' keep, because Maguses are very, very
You're but a footnote in our
at
story.
early levels. Oh, this is really garbage.
Any
Okay.
last wishes?
I don't think I even got the shot off, technically. Alright, I need to figure out if I can do a thing to stealth here. These guys are stealthed here.
This way.
I don't know. Sometimes if you reload it works, but
Right.
these guys seem to be getting like longer and longer vision radiuses. For some
This
reason.
is where I step in. Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration.
Figured out. I think I
Serves
figured out
you
where to
right.
click to make it so that they don't instantly see me. So that'll probably help. I just click on this little star thing here, like right there. It's just enough. You know, I do have some armor classes.
And then
Impressive how
our
many
leader
times they
charged
hit me.
forwards. Hey, wait for me. You deserved it.
God, this is... What is here to hit? It is like plus 11, right? It's plus 9. Actually, it's even worse. So I should have... they should be missing about 25% of the time. You bastards.
You're but a footnote in our
Why are
story.
they moving towards me there?
Any last wishes?
I only got one of them. Okay.
And so they walked on. Can you make an epic pose? I need
There's something weird
inspiration.
going on with the vision there.
This is where I step in.
Alright, cool. So now that we've accomplished that, we're supposed to go in here and figure out how this treasure is attained.
That is not far.
I kind of do this puzzle okay. I'm not great at it, but I'm going to have Lindsay go up here into this room while everyone else goes into this one. And we're going to close the doors for reasons. Partly so that it's not causing people to like run into the opposite room to deal the other half of the puzzle, but for other reasons as well. Okay. So here we got a bunch of statues. They've got their arms in various different positions. We need to get them both all up and all down. I think we do this one next. No, not you. You. Okay, so next we do this one. Gets that one up. Then we do this one. Then we do this one. That gets this. So this room is safe, and we can just grab all the treasure from here. Most importantly, we can get a Wand Magic Missile, which is very, very nice. We also get a Masterwork Nunchuck, which is worth a lot of money to sell. I don't think there's anything else in here. So once we've done that, we have to get them all up again, which I think we can do
You can count on me.
that, and then this. No. There we go. And then we have Lindsay walk in here and fail a knowledge check, which causes
And
this
then
to
our
happen.
leader charged forwards.
So that's
Hey,
an
wait for
ooze
me.
that was disguising itself as a chair. Get Lindsay out of the room here. I don't think I made it quite far enough, so we're going to be caught in a bit of a loop for one round, I think. So Lindsay gets back up.
You're but a footnote in our
Since the
story.
door's closed, this is kind of fine. We'll hit hold there anyway. We just have to get Lindsay far enough away that like the ooze does not get to see her when she respawns.
You cannot stand against me.
Serves you right.
Alright, well. So this ooze is actually ridiculous even on normal difficulty. It will probably kill you, like party wipe sort of
Right.
thing, if you get surprised by it
attack me?
on normal difficulty.
You deserved it.
It's kind of ridiculous. But you are supposed to just pass a knowledge world check by going in there, and therefore not activate it. But if you do activate it, it probably will kill you. Especially if you've led with your own character.
Can you make an epic pose?
But
I
you're
need inspiration.
really not supposed to activate this thing if you're
Any last wishes?
on, like, sort of, like, if you're playing this on Unfair, you should really know about this. Like, you probably do. So you probably know to send in person with the correct knowledge check. I deliberately activate it. The reason is it seems to give more experience points if you do it that way. Although, admittedly, I think if I'm making the knowledge check, then it kind of works out okay.
Anything is possible. This is
Take a
where
shot
I
at the
step
ooze
in.
here.
Scared? You should be.
Serves you right.
This thing's actually not too hard for me to hit, but still pretty bad. I like how it, like, probably rolled 2 natural ones there. It's got an 11 to hit, yeah.
Just letting the ink dry.
Enemy
you
approaching.
deserved it.
Yeah, I feel like that one, again, definitely did
Any
not.
last wishes?
Now what's going on? That is so weird.
This is where I step in.
Only got some damage in. Alright. Yeah, the AI is, like, sort of wandering around, like, back and forth a little bit and wiggling about in a weird way that's a bit weird.
I'm by your side. And then our leader charged
Again.
forwards. Hey, wait for me! Serves you right.
It's like detected my cheese and is trying to counter it, but it can't because she's invincible. Can you imagine, like, if you could just get, like, Tartuccio killed here? Like, then
You put a
Tartuccio got
footnote
eaten
in
by
our
an ooze,
story.
destroying the story.
You deserved it. Any last wishes?
Be a very Stanley Parable kind of moment, I suspect. Yeah, the fact that this can deal like 20 damage even on normal difficulty
This way.
is kind of gross.
And
This is
Lindsay
a little
was
bit less
called
because we have
for.
less strength, but pretty sure
This
it does
is
pretty
where
close
I
to that
step in.
regardless.
We will be victorious.
God damn.
Serves you right.
If you're like a rogue, this thing's immune to criticals as well, so you can't do that. I think you sneak attack. I have had ones where like she's killed it with a shot and it killed her with the attack of opportunity, so the fact that she's immortal and just rebounds from that and
Submit.
is not is kind of useful.
You deserved it.
Nice. Nice. There we go. So that gets the team 108 experience points, which is quite a nice amount of experience to get
As
for
it should be.
basically nothing, honestly.
And so they
So we
walked
send Lindsay
on.
in here, we go ahead and pick up all the stuff again. And in fact, we could actually just stay locked in that room there if we wanted to. So we'll just stay locked in this room. Jace, I'll close that door again. We'll continue on with our game of Twister, or whatever. We're playing Twister where
Right.
everything's moved like further apart, so like so that Tartuccio can't like
Sight
participate
betrays them.
properly. Alright, so this is a fight that is really kind of cutscene-y, but you can still die in it because it's a little bit trickier than the other cutscene-y type fights.
Any last
I'm gonna go ahead and
wishes?
make a shot
Can
at
you
this
make an
guy.
epic
It does not matter if we
pose?
hit.
And
We'll
inspiration.
charge towards them rather than away from them. And yeah, so Kaisi shows up here, and she starts kicking ass because she's immortal. And like proper immortal here. So as long as we just sort of sit here, we'll be soaking up experience points, potentially getting back up to do something, I don't know. But she'll take like 500 damage and just be fine. And we're definitely going to take advantage of this in other fights. There's really only like one fight that you have to do prior to the sort of boss thing. So yeah, that's kind of how that works. So Lindsay can't get up because she's too close and she counts as being in this combat. I just kind of feel like you might not get the experience point otherwise.
Everything is so much fun with a little fire. What a
Alright.
night, huh? I thought I was all alone. It's good you're here. A bit boring, chasing fool assassins without anyone watching the show.
Alright, perfect.
It's not fun at all. Many people have died for nothing.
Mostly Lindsay. I didn't succeed at a knowledge check. That's
I am
interesting.
Kaesi.
I don't think I get experience points for that one, so I don't really care too much. There's a knowledge world check related to her, but it's fine.
In due time.
Alright, so now we have to go talk to this guy, who is going to require a diplomacy check out of us, and generally speaking, I think it automatically defaults to only Tartuccio being able to do it, so I'm going to set it so that any skill user receives skill experience points. We can't activate this like right during the skill check. The other thing though that we're going to do is of course make a save, so that we can re-roll this skill check as many times as we need to. And we're going to be doing that in the very near future as well with some other skill checks. Okay, so double check our. I'm 99% sure, but you always check to make you always double check this one. Because sometimes you toggle the wrong one of these two, or at least I do. Gonna get rid of that there. Yeah, sometimes I accidentally click one of the wrong ones of these two. So only skilled users, yeah. So that's wrong. So only active companions, that's correct. Yep, that's both correct. All right, so let's go talk to this whining little dwarf here.
Grotus.
So this is hard. I don't like him. He's like a Nietzschean that didn't read the text properly. You know those edgy teenagers that think they understand Nietzsche because they read like the one line. What's wrong?
I'm dying. I knew this expedition was impossible.
Yeah.
Oh, it seems you might be right. Yeah. It seems I will live. I suppose I must postpone meeting my god, not for long, I'm sure. But while we remain in this transient world, Arim is at your service.
Right, sure, whatever. Alright, let's just
all
grab the door
according
for
to
run.
plan.
So, down here we can also go ahead and grab some stuff here. So there is a secret button over here. Hit that and run in here to grab some stuff.
In due time.
So it's a Masterworks longsword and a gold ring. The Masterworks longsword is actually quite nice. If you have any sort of character who's like a melee combatant, you can give it to them and make them quite a bit better. But we're about to get into a bunch of extra skill checks that we're going to have to start making. So in this case, once again, we're going to save after we do some important stuff here. So these are skill checks where we want the experience points being saved, because I'm not going to be rolling them personally. Jthal is the one that can pass the athletic thing that we're going to need to do. If we don't do this one this way, then I believe that we have a negative RP outcome later down the line. By stealing the money, I don't think anything negative really comes out of that. So anytime you're about to roll dice for something to save the game, especially if it's one of the ones where it's like you could have taken 10 or something like that, or you know, if it's really vital for you to do it, or if it just saves you time. There's certain things where it's like, yeah, you're supposed to come back and do this like later. It's like I don't have time to go back and do this shit later. I'm gonna pass it now.
Get an axe. Aha! Some of our guests survived.
There's the hull.
You'll have to
I'll
run
go
through the
immediately.
fire. We've almost put it out at the entrance, so you're.
So we're just gonna run through a fire. Kaisi's immune to fire, or she's resistant to fire. Alright, so we're gonna run on through here. So, yeah, we have to do some shit. So let's go ahead and drench ourselves with some water. We'll cover our noses and mouths there. And we have to make an athletics 9 check, which is actually a 13 because there's a hidden +4 bonus for being unfair. Now, the worst thing about this is that it's unlisted, but what we want to do here is help Valerie, who is standing around there bringing guards out of the fire. So it's good to help her, and she'll like us a lot more if we try to do this one, which is actually more likely to succeed if we try to do this one, just because we've got more diplomacy. It's harder to do another check later, and both of those makes it so that we can make more experience points gains. But I think that in this case we go for the roleplay value because we want those other values to come into effect later. I think it makes a difference for some of the roleplay options. Alright, we succeeded, gained 54 experience points. Lovely. And because of the way it was set up, that's 54 per person. Now, this leads us towards the final sort of fight of this place, which is kind of janky, actually. So we're going to go ahead and save the game, and then we're going to go ahead and rearrange our party here. This is where you want to think, like, the people that you've met so far, who do you like, who do you dislike? It doesn't matter for some of them. Like, Amiria is going to join you no matter what. That barbarian who is charging through and rampaging about the place, she's always going to join you. But the other people in the party here, these people that you've got with you now, you're supposed to know them a little bit, except Tartuccio, he never joins you. You're supposed to get to know these people a little bit, these four here, because they're going to be your party. And you want to sort of decide which ones do you want to start with, which ones do you want to get later. So we're going to go ahead and rearrange our shit here just a little bit. And what we're going to try to do for this fight here is just chill out for a little bit here and let Kaisi deal the damage until we've gotten through a bunch of them, at which point we'll sort of stream in there afterwards. But we're mostly going to try and make it so that the damage and stuff is done by Amiria and Kaisi, because those two are the ones that are going to
all
sort
according
of have,
to
like,
plan.
really interesting contributions to this.
Patience.
So we can also heal up.
Anything is possible.
Enlighten me.
I believe that we are going to be starting off with... So we're taking Lindsay instead of Jaethal. We're going to get Jaethal later. We're leaving Harem in a cage,
Yes,
so we'll
I'm
go ahead
still
and
here.
do this. And True Strike is also kind of garbage. So this is spontaneous healing. You can do it with certain clerics. Man, you're garbage at this. All right, let's save the game here real quick. I don't need to heal up to full. I just need to make it so she doesn't instantly die if she accidentally catches a stray arrow. Although if it's a stray sneak attack arrow or a stray crit, of course she'll die. Same with me. But that's perfectly fine. By which I mean it's not fine. Don't do it. So we're going to do what's called making a hard save, or what I call making a hard save. Well, that's interesting. Huh. That not saved properly? I don't feel like that's saved properly. Usually that wipes out those secondary saves. I might have to reset my game here or something like that. That would be fine though. In any event though, what we're going to go ahead and do here, no, that's alright, well, whatever. Yeah, what we're going to go do is just chug our way in here. We're going to make sure that Valerie is using a defensive stance, because that's how she fights. Harem over here, we're going to cast Bless when we get through the door. Jaethal is going to use Divine Power, as well as, more importantly, she'll use Justice.
And Lindsay was called
we're going to
for.
have Inspire Courage up as well.
All
So
according
we go
to
ahead
plan.
in here, check through, I did forget to take some stuff here. Right, stuff by Harem, I think. That's all fine. So, actually, there's one more thing I can do. I think we picked up slightly better armor. Banded Mail, I think we have... No, it is also Banded Mail. Okay, never mind. Masterwork, so it's not any better there, not any better or worse. We could replace your flail with a Masterwork Light's Mace, I think. Wait a minute, what the hell? There it is. Masterwork Light Mace. So it would give us +1 to hit, but it would deal less damage. I think that's actually a little bit worth it, though. Although I think he's got, like, flails as, like, his deity special weapon. I don't think he's got weapon focus with it. +3 there. +2 here, yeah. So, this should be fine, I think.
Give the order.
Probably. And nothing else here, stuff that I actually want. If I was playing an exotic weapons user, I would probably really like the Fashard, but the unfortunate thing is you can start with one anyway, so why would you bother? So Eldori over there is just fighting casually with like this like frost giant, and a million things that are being summoned in there. Like, so she's taking all the experience points for this encounter.
In
So
due
we're going to
time.
go ahead and sort of move around a little bit here. We
What
can lose
troubles
this
you?
fight. It is possible to lose
Yes,
here.
I'm
So
still
we're
here.
going to go cast
Here.
that.
Patience.
So bless is
My
important.
patience is a
Anything
running
is
thing.
possible.
Gonna cast Inspire Courage. And we are going to start focusing down
Leave this one to
fellow.
me.
Adventures call to them. Serves you right.
State your desire.
Grotus awaits us.
I am your
And we're just
shield.
gonna kind of get people around Kaisi.
Who will prevail?
Just all three shots.
Doesn't matter.
Fantastic. So Kaisi is going to start firing away at these guys here. And she's very, very good. I'm going to turn you to autocast on this.
Just die already!
The initial shot with the magic missile was our best bet with that, but that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Switch you to Daze.
You
Start working on
deserved it.
dazing some of these assassins. We're going to get you guys around the flanks here. Turn on this. Okay. So, take all of you got that active yet? Yep.
Let us strike as one.
Okay, and we get around here and start working
Do
on
not
these guys.
falter. Sister, protect me.
Can't be over.
So
Miserable.
Jathel's down, Lindsay's down.
Last chapter.
That's all lovely. Oh, she's scared.
This should do it.
Avenge me.
We might have to redo this one. Yeah, we have to redo this one. The big thing that screwed us over there is like when Kaisi loses her will save, it really, really hurts us. She's actually got a decent chance of passing that just because of the way that this encounter pans out. But if she starts running, that's real bad news. Alright, let's go ahead and continue on here. I could potentially also be flinging magic missiles using a wand. Wouldn't be the worst idea, but basically we quit early in these fights. The reason is that if we, like, as long as our character's alive, I can just reset the game using the honest method. The other backup one is just in case I, like, screw up something really, really badly and get myself killed, but realistically we shouldn't ever have that be a problem. Now, also, if we had just
All
gotten some
according
hits
to
from that
plan.
guy, we would have been quite a lot better off, but... Alright, so...
My patience is a
What
running
troubles you?
thing.
Grotus
Go
awaits
ahead
us.
and cast Bless again. Bless
Don't
is plus one to
hesitate.
hit, basically. It's nothing too special.
I am prepared.
I always have a second plan.
I wrote it like I saw it.
Cast instantly is the reason
Focus
we sort of use
on the
that
goal.
at the time that we
Just
do.
letting the ink dry.
I deserve better.
You cannot stand against me.
Okay, so we got at least the one hit. I'm gonna move you guys back like that. Okay, so Tartusio, you are going to use magic missiles from now on.
Leave this one to me.
Drathol,
Unworthy.
Aram,
Repent!
Let us strike as one.
Lindsay, you are going
Serves
to face
you
that
right.
guy. Alright, that's one down.
I can't keep this up much longer.
Cost here went on Valerie. That's actually really useful. Okay, so we need to start taking out this guy's mirror images, so we're just going to
You
start firing
deserved it.
honestly. With this stuff, I don't want him using just his
die
magic missiles on
already!
that.
This should do it.
So these guys are still immortal here. They can't die in this fight, so it's fine. We just sort of let them run in there and have things happen. Dicey's running around again, but Mary's here. And she gets a crit. That's
survive.
Well, unfortunate. Okay. So usually she doesn't go down that fast.
Time to get my hands dirty again.
Any last wishes?
Okay.
This is where I step in.
A calculated
Firing
risk.
with my main character here. Okay, with Amiri down, is she gonna get back up?
What a miserable last chapter.
Tycee's back up though. She's taking shots. This should be fine actually. I just have to make sure I don't take an arrow to the neck or anything like that. And we'll be fine here.
Out of my way! This was not supposed to happen.
Cool.
This will hurt.
Alright, Valerie, get in here and start beating these guys up too. Don't need defensive fighting because they sort of automatically go down.
Let's try this way.
To victory!
I don't know why people are getting up already. We still haven't technically won this yet, but...
Look at me, Gorum!
Alright. So gained a bunch of experience points for all that. Entire team is basically screwed, but that's fine. What we can do is go around Harm over here. Use all of his channel energy here, because we're not bringing with us. Now, we do want to decide who we like and who we don't like. And if you happen to like Harem, that's fine. But what we're doing is we're using up all the resources of the people who won't be joining us anytime soon. And Harem actually won't be joining us until Chapter 2, so we're going to just take, like... we don't actually need to. We will take potentially this heavy mace. It's not worth taking, actually. Probably just the scrolls. So Jaethal is going to be joining us much earlier, so we definitely keep her with her stuff. We actually want to give you back your armor. Forgot about that. That'll come in handy later, I guess. Certain sense there. So we take away everything from Tartusio. Literally, like, all this stuff. His pants, you know, his shirt, his underwear, everything. Alright, thank you, Tartusio, for your stuff. Thank you for a kind donation to my campaign. Yeah. So we'll take all this other stuff here. The Assassin Leader's got some pretty interesting stuff. It's mostly like stuff you'd expect from an alchemist. But lots of potions around here.
In due time.
I think that's everybody. But yeah, we've now got to make a whole ton of skill checks. So at this point in time, you need to make a save. So, and you also want to be deciding who are you going to be bringing with you. In my case, what we're going to do is we're going to leave Jaethal behind for a little bit, and we're going to take Valerie and Lindsay. We're going to be acquiring Jaethal quickly, and we're going to be acquiring Harem really late. This is so that we can sort of maximize our experience points gains. The people that you want to add to your party, if you want to have more people in your party, like if you'd like all of these people except for Tartusio, then you can go ahead and just have all of them in your party, and it doesn't matter which you pick right now. But what you want to pick right now are people who are going to help you out in the first couple of fights when you leave this place, which is going to be 3 Facelodons, which are pretty tricky to fight. The best way to do it is to cheese through it with like a couple animal companions. So characters that are going to want to have animal companions, Amiri is going to want to have one with the build that I go with, and
I've been told
Valerie
someone
also
annoys
does.
you either pray
The
or polish
other way
your
that
armor.
you do this is you just take characters
It is
that
why
you don't
my armor
like
gleams
and
as it does.
give them an animal companion for this one fight, which is going to be Lindsay. Or if we had Harem with us and I didn't want to keep him, I would give Harem that. Jaethal I want to have, but she's not going to have an animal companion, and that's why we're picking up later on in the story instead of bringing her with us from the start. Either way, though, we've got sort of everything we want here. We can also take the stuff from this giant, or what's left of him, but it's heavy and it's not really worth that much money, so let's go ahead and hit save here. And yeah, this is where we get into this really annoying thing, but I'll show you how to select your teammates. And also why diplomacy is so important. Now, if you don't have diplomacy, then you obviously don't need to worry about it here. But, yeah, that's a different issue. So, you go up to the Jamandi here.
Thank you for your valor and bravery. The enemy was strong, but you were stronger. And that means I made the right choice. Just as I thought, there were...
So now they find out there's a spy here.
I know
so
who
if
arranged this attack.
like you want to
The
pick this
vile
one
king
regardless.
of
I've only got +6 to my
Irreventi.
diplomacy, but
What's
yeah,
more,
if you
I
don't wear the
know
ring,
who among
you
us
still have
works
this
for
option, and
him.
it's still the one that gives you experience points. The other ones don't give you experience points, so screw you, game. Anyway, we want only skill user receives experience points. I don't think it actually matters here because you're technically the only active companion. We want to have this set right now, but we'll switch that out pretty soon, and then we'll switch it out
Show
later.
everyone the ring you're
So
wearing.
diplomacy.
You think I wouldn't recognize it?
Yes.
I'm just going to go through the whole thing here.
Such a
So
gambit
I
would
succeed there,
there's
we gain a little
definitely a
experience point. It's
spy
not
among
listed there,
us.
but we do gain them.
They both... How? My word...
I bet my life.
So
Lady
there's just
Aldori,
some
don't
yaver
listen
behind
to
who's
this
a spy,
thick-headed
but
barbarian. And not just that.
they wanted me to
Upon
rob the...
finding the guard's salaries in the armory, he immediately pocketed it all.
So this is what I was saying, like, this gives you more experience points than if I did the other thing. If I left the money there, I wouldn't have to make as difficult a diplomacy check, but I wouldn't gain as much experience from it either.
Considering the circumstances, that was more than reasonable.
That's kind of silly, but okay.
That was a sound decision. Sometimes one must act at one's own risk and peril until crossing the boundaries
So
of
this
what
is how you get
allowed.
Valerie. You choose
Showing
the lawful
initiative
option
is
there.
no crime.
And
Well,
that
of course,
causes
theft is
harm
not to
to
be
not like you.
condoned. However, when the fire burns around you, and you are but one step away from death, is it not insane to worry about laws and rules?
What about that trick he pulled right before we came in here? He knew very well you were fighting the enemy, but instead of rushing to help you, he dallied as long as he could, dropping everything to save people from the fire,
here
even though the
we pick
guards
the
were
good
handling
choice
things
if
just
we want
fine.
Lindsay to join
He
us,
was
and we choose
obviously
evil
hoping
if
to
we
show
want
up too late
J-Fall
and
to join
find
us.
you already
So I
dead.
want Lindsay to start with us because what we're going to do is give her an animal companion, use that to get through the first few encounters, and then leave her at Oleg's, then pick up Jathal after we've gotten through those difficult encounters. So we pick this one here.
Really,
I succeeded
Tartuccio?
already, okay.
You're seriously trying to blame someone for saving people from a fire?
Okay, so at this point in time, what we want to do...
May Shellen spare me from ever
A true leader is...
Enough squabbling.
Okay, so now we have to have our party join us, and what we do for here is we set it so that all party members receive experience, and we'll also turn off the only skill user thing.
I'm still not sure which of you I can trust.
So we're
However,
going to create
the
two
risk of
teams, one is
entrusting
with
the whole
Tartuccio, one
affair
is with
to a
me.
spy is
And this is
Lady
when people
Aldori.
are technically joining us.
I'm sad to lose such...
If my leader allows, I
So
will join his
Valerie has
team.
decided to join me, whereas Harem decides not to.
Military lead.
Our leader is good in battle,
She decides
but
to go
I
with
don't
Tartuccio,
like...
and
Tartuccio's going to
Lindsay
take the
is
credit for
going to join
himself
with
and
me.
be...
As for me,
She decides
know
she
neither
doesn't
of these
feel
two.
like doing
At
anything.
least
I don't even need
And
to
Amiri
think.
always joins you no
I'm
matter
coming
what.
with this man.
So
All right, we have two
our
teams.
experience points is going to be
To
based
avoid
on
unnecessary conflict on the road.
bunch of things there, but now that we've done that, we switch back. So only active companions receive experience points because we're about to gain
You'll
some
each
experience
take a
points.
different route to the Stolen Lands. Tartuccio's team will go through Navacta's... I'd
I
like
believe
to
I did
believe
this
you,
correctly.
but I know all too well while you're away. And now...
Blah, blah, blah. Alright, so we leveled, obviously, but if we did this correctly, everyone in our party should be level 2. If I did this incorrectly, I'm level 2 and no one else is.
Surviving a terrible night, our small team set off to brave our fate.
Okay, yep, everyone's level 2 here. So, like I said, Lindsay we're going to level first because she doesn't matter as much. We're just leveling her quickly so that we can get through this next fight. Sylvan Sorcerer is the one that makes most sense for her and is best for her to get us through a particularly difficult fight here. You can just dump one level and then get an animal companion and then just never worry about it ever again, but you could also level her up in Sylvan Sorcerer. She's not that bad at it. I think that going back into Bard for at least up to level 4 in Bard is not the worst thing in the world as well. You could also just go level 3. The only thing is it's hard to find a way to make it so that she can level up her animal companion otherwise. The other option is you could go with like a Sacred Huntsman Inquisitor. It doesn't make a ton of sense for her because she's not a Wisdom caster, so that would work a lot worse. And then you could also go Ranger, but Rangers don't get animal companions until level 4, I believe, is when you get that. Hunter's Bond there, yeah. The other classes that get one of these, I don't think Slayer gets one. I think Barbarian Mad Dog is one that doesn't work with her very well. Druid, obviously, she's banned from, so, I mean, your only real option, honestly, is the Sorcerer with her. So go ahead and pick that. I think Bear is the best one if you're doing a 1 level dip. The Smilodon's got more attacks, but the Bear hits more reliably at level 1, and it's got a bigger, it hits harder, so it hits more reliably and more often and for more damage than the Smilodon. So some people might say that this is suboptimal. I think this is definitely better. We're going to go ahead and pick that. For our abilities here, it really doesn't matter that much. We want to just put 2 points into mobility, because if we get 3, then we can fight defensively a little bit more effectively. And we're going to put a point into perception, just because it's nice to have some people running around who've got a little bit more perception. Nothing too special about what we've got with her, though. So we'll continue on with that one. I like going for spell focus with enchantment with her. I think that that sort of works out well with the sort of vibe that we're going with. Now, the spells that we're going to pick for her are going to be pretty irrelevant, because like I said, we're not going to be bringing her around too much. But we will take Sleep, because that's going to be something you can use that ability with there. The other thing that I think works well is Hypnotism is the other alternative. It's a little bit longer lasting in terms of how long you can use it through the game, but it's not very strong. The other thing that I kind of want to have access to here is probably... it really doesn't matter that much. Ear Piercing Scream I think we'll take. Alright, so we've got access to all this stuff here. Should be fine. Next up is going to be Amiri. So we can go straight Barbarian, but we're kind of going away from like theme here. What we're doing is we're creating a character who's like a little bit, you know, she like acts the top. Like this actually is kind of on theme for her in a certain sense there. And basically the thing about like Amiri is that she acts like this really tough macho sort of guy there, but like when you actually talk to her, she really reveals that that's just all show and bravado. So I like sort of the idea that she's actually not necessarily as much as what she just tries to appear on the surface. So Inquisitor still doesn't make sense for her. Taking it anyway, don't give a crap. Sacred Huntsman means that she gets an animal companion and a deity, and we're picking Desna instead of Gorum, and this is where I think we're really going off the rails. If she was an Inquisitor of Gorum, that would make a lot of sense there, but Desna, I think, does not. We're taking it anyway. Luck Domain, this is really powerful. Number of times per day equal to your 3 plus your Wisdom. You can use a bit of Luck, and then at 6th level, we can also use Divine Fortune. These basically give you a ton of rerolls. Divine Luck, for a number of rounds equal to half your level in the class, so by the time we get there, we get 3 rounds. You get to use reroll every d20 roll. It's really powerful. You have another use of it at level 12. By then, you're sort of like deep committed, but I would not go up to 18 in this for a couple of different reasons. It also gives you some domain spells, which don't matter for this particular class. For her animal companion, we are going to go Smilodon. The reason is that the Sacred Huntsman gets access to solo tactics and teamwork feats, and hunter tactics. So you also get your hunter, your teamwork feats added to your animal companion. So if I get outflank on Amiri, I also get outflank on the Smilodon, which is a +4 to hit when flanking instead of +2 to hit. So you can get a lot more mileage out of those individual attacks. And then there's also Precise Strike, which adds an additional d6 to each of your attacks in damage. Adding that to the Smilodon is also fantastic, so really good stuff there. So for her skills, you can kind of go whatever, but it's nice to have more athletics and mobility. Lore, nature, and perception are going to be very important for her. And I think that in our case, we're just going to pick a little bit of religion so that we can do some cheeky stuff with some skill checks in a little bit there. So for her starting spells, I think that Divine Favor is really important, and I think that Shield of Faith is really important. So we're going to go with those as just our starting ones. Later on, having some cures and stuff like that are pretty good. Expeditious Retreat is really powerful, but I don't need it on her as badly because she starts off with 40 move speed. And I use the kiting stuff with other characters, so other people can use Expeditious Retreat instead. So that's her complete. For Valerie, again, we're going for animal companions. This is why we're starting with the characters we're starting with. And we're doing something really weird. We're also going Sylvan Sorcerer with her, and that's because she actually has some really interesting stats. The other thing that we could start off with is the Monk and go Scaled Fist. This gives us access to Stunning Fist, which is not that important. Scaled Fist bonus feat, which is important. We need to get to Crane Style as fast as possible. And this also gives us like Flurry of Blows, which is not that important. And where is the one that is important? The Armor Class bonus. +1 bonus to armor class at 4th level, but we get charisma bonus to armor class right now. So actually, a monk gains +1 in addition, yeah, at 4th level. So we don't get any bonus to it now, it's just charisma. But we would want to potentially have this at some point in time. You lose it when you wear armor is the reason it's worse right now, so we wouldn't want that right now. But for now, what we're going to do is take Sylvan Sorcerer, and what we're doing with her is making it so that she can cast all these really powerful self-buff spells that make her really good at defending herself with those buffs, without really making her so she's taking that straight fighter stuff, because some of the best tanking abilities in the game are actually in casting classes. Things like Mirror Image and Displacement are really good compared to having high armor class. And if you combine that with having a high armor class, you become nearly invincible. So that's sort of what we're going for here. And then eventually we're going to go into Eldritch Knight there. So we go ahead and click there. For her animal companion, I actually want to have a leopard. This is going to be a smaller one. It's going to make it easier to tank. Unfortunately, the leopard starts off kind of weak. It does very, very little damage with its attacks there. But at level 4, it gains a bunch of extra bonuses that are kind of interesting. Fairly high tank values on the leopard as well, but most importantly, it's small and turns to medium, so that I'll be able to fight from behind it a little bit more easily, which is going to be important for some of our characters. So that's good, I think. Gonna go with all that. For her skill points, we want 2 points in mobility. We need to get to 3 as fast as possible. And for our last point there, we're going to start putting points into, I believe, persuasion. And eventually she'll just be able to intimidate stuff if she needs to, especially if she's standing in the front line not being able to hit anything. So we do get access to a feat here. Combat casting would probably be a good idea, but it doesn't help us tremendously for what we're doing here. I'm going to take Metamagic Extend spell, even though it does literally nothing for us for a while. And that's because we're not actually going to get like another feat until level 7. And we're not going up to level 7 with this. We're going to be going up to level 6 here, and then we're going to be taking the Eldritch Knight class, which means that we're just not going to get more of this for a while. We could potentially loop back into taking this, but by that point in time, I probably don't need to worry about this as much. For her spells, we want to have access to Mage Armor, I believe. Yep, and I think we wanted Shield. So her spells have to be ones that have fairly decent durations, and that we just use to cast as a boost to whoever it is that we're sort of buffing up there, herself in particular. There's going to be instances where I feel like it's better for her to be sitting in the back using the spells, and having access to these is important, because you have to sort of plan ahead with sorcerers. You can't loop back around and rechange their spells later. The Mage Armor is actually for me to cast on animal companions. It's not for her to cast on herself, so... Alright, so we should have a bunch of animal companions added to our stuff here. As you can see, we got actually a lot of attack value out of the leopard, which is interesting. This has got weapon finesse and very high dexterity. So that's how that goes. It's also small size, which gives it another +1. Its armor class is 20, which is really, really high, compared to, say, the bear here, which has 18. The main downside to this thing is it's got very, very low damage, so it's kind of, gonna eventually chip away at something until it hits level 4, in which case it gets its dexterity to damage. It loses the small size bonus. It's got pluses and minuses. The Smilodon here, very low to hit, very low damage on each individual hit, not as low as the leopard, but it basically just flails around a lot and misses a ton until we get outflank and we get precise attack and all that, making it much, much stronger. So we now go into our character here. And I'm playing a Arcane Trickster, like I said, for our 2nd level, therefore we need to take Rogue. I'm taking Thug as our archetype here. That just gives me Frightening. The reason is I'm only taking 1 level of Rogue. The other alternative that I could potentially take is I could go into Alchemist and take Vivisectionist. That would give me access to Sneak Attack. It would give me Throw Anything, which doesn't really help us that much. It gives me Alchemist proficiencies, and it gives me Mutagens. I don't necessarily know that this is really that good for me by comparison to Rogue. I think that Rogue is a little bit better. What it would give me is Rogue proficiencies, Weapon Finesse, and Sneak Attack as well. So I think that this is a little bit stronger because we're going to be using Weapon Finesse. You could technically take both, but I really don't think that's a good idea. So yeah, we take the 1 level of Rogue Thug there. It gets us Frightening. That's going to work well later, because we're going to have a Dazzling Display very much late into this into the game. We're not going to be taking any more than 1 level of this. I think there's other classes that give you Sneak Attack. I think it's Slayer has Sneak Attack, but they don't get to level 3, so they're pretty garbage at that. I think that's everybody. Pretty sure that's everybody that gives that to you. So anyway, we go Rogue, we go Thug. We get very little this level. We do get a ton of skill points though, so we go Persuasion, that becomes a class skill. So that's now plus, it says plus 7, it should jump up a little bit more than that, shouldn't it? No, that is the correct amount. It's 10 because we got the Familiar, but it doesn't count it there. And we have to take these as skills here. So Mobility, Trickery, Arcana, we use World for some of our necessary stuff later. And I do want to have points in Stealth, so that's going to be something else that we use for like camp and stuff like that. So that's all good. That's all good. Okay, so that's our party. We want to potentially camp here, but we kind of can't. Unfortunately, that means that we've got a bunch of people who don't have their stuff set up. But that shouldn't matter. We're going to go ahead and just travel and hope for the best here. And what's going to happen is we're going to have this random encounter with a bunch of Thessalodons. Now, the Thessalodons are going to be murdering the ever-loving crap out of, hopefully, our animal companions. Now, one thing that annoys me is that I can't actually, like, set this up so that I've got people doing the thing that I want them to be doing, like, formation-wise, before the fight there, which is really annoying, but it is the way it is. Alright, so we're going to activate this here. Going to take off this, because that only works in humanoids. And unfortunately, our Smilodon is probably going to die in like 1 hit there. But whatever. These guys got good initiatives. This is one of those ones where, to a certain extent there,
do not falter.
We just
tear them apart.
Do this until we get good initiative results and manage to get through it that way. Okay. Bear's dead. I have to be careful about that, 'cause, yeah, he's gone after me now. Alright. The Smilodon's also dead, so... This is one of the more annoying fights, in my opinion. Let's send all of our animals after this one Thassalodon.
Tear them apart! Let us strike as one!
Our initiative is kind of garbage again. Could just have the leopard go after that one. Honestly, the leopard is kind of like a tank, which is really weird, but... I think this is gonna get the bear, in fact, that's I like that I got the bear, in fact, and not the Thassalid. The leopard is really showing his earning his spots here. The leopard was really earning his spots there. He got a lot of hits off. Alright, so we can skim this. Unfortunately we fail, that's fine, I kind of don't care. Thassalodon pelts are one of the worst value. Bear, are you still color sprayed? I like that the indicator says, like, yeah, we get the Thassalodon, you won't get the bear, and then I get the bear, not the Thassalodon. Thanks, game. You're fantastic.
All according to
plan. Let's get out of here. I could rest here, but it doesn't really make a difference. I might as well hit the road again, continue down as far as we can, and then rest at the last sort of second there. Now, I can also go ahead into my spells here and rearrange a few of them. I think our spells are actually technically fine as they are, but I don't really need Mage Armor right now. So what we're going to do is prep a Grease instead. It's not my favorite spell, but it'll work. So we're going to continue along our way until we see Oleg's on the horizon, and then we're going to rest. So, I want to manage this, I want to switch this around a little bit. So she's got +7. I don't necessarily need her on watch duty, so I think what I want her to do is assist. And a hearty meal would be okay if I could pass that, but I probably won't. So this means we don't have a watch, but that should be fine for this one.
Our adventures are so great. Soon I will be able to write an epic tale just like my favorite books, Legend of the Archknights of Avestan. You know, Valerie, not everyone flails about screaming like you do. Guy Chasseur de Lambert had finesse, style, grace. He danced around his opponents, killing only when he had to. You could learn from him, oaf.
That's harsh.
I suppose he was the greatest swordsman of the age? What a joke. Dancing around the battlefield like a tavern act. I've never seen someone dance during combat, little one. Sounds made up.
Ah, shit. Really? I don't think it's possible to have an encounter, though, at this point in the game. I believe it's actually guaranteed, so it shouldn't matter. Unfortunately, we did not recover very many hit points is the main problem. Let's see here. These guys automatically recover. Might just have to use some potions here. Because we are about to get into another fight here. It's not the hardest one, but I do want to be not necessarily topped off, but I do want to have some health for it. Alright, so for this fight that we're heading into here, we want to make sure that we've got a different formation. We want Valerie still to be sort of up front there, tanking. We want Amiri and Smilodon working together. We want the bear working with no one. We want you and her together. So we've got sort of this really sturdy, like, front line, basically, and then we got this sort of more limited back line, but that's fine. What we're going to go ahead and do here is also go ahead and remove some equipment. So she's got the ability to do that. So yeah, we're doing this so we can cast spells, basically. So we're going to go ahead and down the line and start casting Fade Armor on our animal companions.
Adventures
and
call
Lindsay,
to them.
You've got Sleep. What else did I give you? Ear-piercing Scream, I think, from Sorcerer. Technically the same spell in this case, so I don't have to worry too much about the difference there. Grease is not going to help us in this instance. So now that we cast those, she doesn't need to cast Shield or any shit like that, so let's go ahead and do that. Re-equip your Brigantine. You're probably actually not going to bother too much with getting hit, hopefully, I'd imagine, so we'll just leave you as is.
What troubles you?
Should be fine. We'll turn you
just
to automatically cast
dry.
this. Okay, so our animal companions now have a lot of armor class. That's sort of the point of that. This fella here has got 24 AC. We got 22 on the bear. We got 22 on you. Also, I need to change your armor. Your armor is garbage. Breastplate. So up to 17. That's fantastic. The hide armor is just so bad. Right. Now we can increase our armor class even a little bit higher on these fellows by casting Shield of Faith.
What you want?
So we could go ahead and cast this on like the leopard or something like that. I could technically cast it on multiple people, but I want to have access to this thing. There goes a dude, I guess.
In due time.
Oh, it's raining. This is unfortunate because that's going to hamper our backline's ability to do stuff, but... Alright, so yeah, there's some thugs here shaking down Kressel. Shaking down Oleg, rather. Kressel's the person doing the shaking down. So you can tell she's important because she has a name, but she's not that important. What's going on here? Isn't it obvious these thugs are robbing us honest settlers? Sure. Neutral good, I'm not interested in bloodshed, but I won't let you rob this man, be on your way, and I'll let you go in peace, is what we are going to say here. And then Kressel's going to just disappear. The rest of them are going to try and murder the crap out of us, but, you know, it's fine.
Running won't help you!
So Valerie, we're going to switch you over to this style. And should be fine. Miriam, Smilodon, are going to focus on him. You two are going to focus on him. You can definitely focus on that.
Serves you
are going
right.
to focus on that. I'm going to work my way over to the left here. There, instantly dies. Okay. Did I color spray one of them and not the other one somehow? I didn't even hit him. That guy's just getting battered around by a cat. Alright, there we go. Lindsay's just standing there screaming her lungs out. Bear gets back up, perfect. Let's grab their stuff. Nothing that good, but we're right by a merchant,
that
so
is
that's
not
fine.
far.
Alright. I just realized something. I might have done something wrong here. It's not that bad because we haven't gotten very far into this, but only active companions receive experience? No, that is correct. Okay, good. Take that, scoundrels. Okay, so now they're going to tell us that the bandits are going to come back. I'm going to summarize this because they like talk a lot in this game. But basically these guys are some settlers that came out here to make a trading post. There's their friend Boken who ran away. He's an old man who makes like herbal remedies and potions and stuff like that. The bandits are going to be here again to punish them for this. We're going to attack them. They come at some various amount of time there. They don't really tell us that much there. And we're going to go ahead and say you have nothing to fear. I'll help you deal with the attack, which is the lawful good thing. All of these options actually mean the same thing here. Lawful good, chaotic neutral, lawful evil. You have nothing to fear. I'll help you deal with the attack there. Once we said that, we can tell him that he'll tell us about the alchemist fire. So we can use this and say that, oh yeah, we should use that as a trap. So we're going to say that. And I'm going to look around a bit. We can also go ahead and talk to him again and say, I'd like to see your goods. Because he is a merchant, like I said. So we're going to go ahead and hit that button to just get rid of all the stuff that's like vendor trash. This is all stuff that you sell that you're never going to use personally. We're going to get rid of the braces of armor. Like, it's a +1 magic item, but it doesn't overlap with like armor that you wear. And it's better, generally speaking, just wear armor. Masterwork longsword. This one's a bit tricky. There are some valid reasons to keep that around for a bit. I think we will. Composite longbow, we also keep that. Bandit mail will sell. Chain shirt, we'll sell that, although there are things that we could do with it. Regular longbow, we don't need to keep that. We get rid of all of these bows. All these regular longswords, that's all this stuff here. This flail. Could have sold actually that masterwork mace that we gave to what's his name, but that comes in handy later. Alright, so we've got 727 bucks worth of stuff that we can take out of that. We could even get a little bit more if I wanted to. Now, the thing that we want to sort of aim for is actually a little bit weird, but I actually want to kind of get a masterwork Bardiche for Miri. But that's because we, like I said, we want to sort of have her become a backliner. For this moment, though,
Ready for anything.
To do a diplomacy check. We're going to go ahead and make a quick save before we do it. And then we'll make a save after I do it, if I remember to. But doing this gives us a much better chance of beating these bandits. But before we do that, we'll call this an episode, I think, at this point in time. I'll just talk to Boken here and set up the traps, and that'll be our setup for our next episode, I suppose. So this one's actually a vital check. This one you cannot let yourself down.
I know what to do.
So give yourselves a bit of luck there. Tell me about yourself. What's there to sell? I'm an herbalist. I make potions and sell them. By the way, if you haven't talked to Oleg first, then he won't join you here. We could use your help fighting bandits. So I now have a diplomacy check at a DC of 20. It says 16, it's 20. And he gave us a potion to cure light wounds. So the bandits here bother you as much as Svetlana and Oleg, maybe more. Help us get rid of them for good. Gain 132 experience points, but more importantly, he's going to help us with this fight. Please be careful. Go ahead and help, but leave the heroic stress here. Alright, so in addition to the fire trap that we've already set there, we can click on this and use these steel traps here. They're going to be set up all around this place here, and they're going to basically be very good at sort of being a further deterrent to these guys. And there's also a pot of tar over here that's going to be a way to slow down the bandits further, although it doesn't light on fire for some reason, which would have been kind of nice there. After that, we can sort of like steal some stuff. Doesn't really matter that much, you're allowed to steal it. For some reason, there's no consequence for being just a rampant asshole and taking all of the poor traders' stuff here. So we go and steal all the coins. just run around, do all this larceny. We're going to own the place soon, so I mean, like, technically it's like stealing our own stuff, except, you know, that's not how it works either. Steal their potatoes. You know, they didn't eat those potatoes. I eat those potatoes.
That is not far.
Getting a rope is also nice. There's some quest moments where you can use those automatically. You can see the steel traps on the tar over here as well. Alright, so we can look at the well. It doesn't do much. I think there is a heavy crossbow up here, and I do want to switch out to a heavy crossbow if possible. Yeah, heavy crossbow, a long sword, some other stuff there. But heavy crossbow is actually kind of a nice upgrade for me. So we'll switch that. Stop raining as heavily, it doesn't matter that much. I think we got everything that we can steal. There's nothing to steal outside of this place either. Alright, so we're going to call that one an episode. We'll do a quick check here. We should be well on our way to level 3, and we are. 4,019 experience points out of 5,000. By the time we get through this fight, we should be, like, very, very close
in
to
due
5,000.
time.
With this sort of group here, and once we leave with just a few of them, by which I mean just Amiri and Valerie, those are the two that we want to level. Lindsay can stay behind here. We'll start gaining experience even faster. So, yeah, that's going to be our episode for today. Hope you found this one enjoyable, and of course, as always, hope to see you guys all next time. Oops.